This right here is my HiBoost on my 2020 Tacoma. It's been a great addition to the rig, especially moving up here to Montana, where cell phone service is very spotty at best. HiBoost in the last few years has realized that overlanders typically get themselves in some tight situations where they need this thing to go away for clearance. So they made this articulating arm that puts the HiBoost down into a stow position, which makes it great for storage and height clearance, especially if you don't need it. And then it obviously pops back up, a very easy, simple solution for a lot more clearance. And here in the Super Ute is my HiBoost cell phone booster. And from what I have found from just a bunch of miles on this thing and a bunch of miles on the other Tacoma, is that they're really identical. The only difference is that there's no articulating arm on this booster. So every time I hit a tree branch, it goes bong, and it's really annoying, and it makes me think that it's broken. So I always get out, check it, and it's fine. But it's just one of those things where having the articulating arm would just be a big game changer for HiBoost. We're in luck because HiBoost just came out with the ExplorerX, which has the articulating arm to get that antenna out of the way for a lot more clearance. And of course, I'm installing this on my brand new 4th-gen Tacoma on the brand new Prinsu Pro cab rack. Now, this video is going to be a bit abridged in the sense that I'm not going to show the full install only because I've done this 2 other times. The main points I'm going to cover are how the cables are getting into the cab, because that's going to be a new platform, has going to be some nuance there to get those in cleanly. And then it's also going to be where the controller and the antenna are going to go in the cab, because there's a lot less clearance under the seat, under the front seats and under the back seat. There's just not as much room for these items to kind of be hidden out of the way cleanly. Now be sure to watch to the very end, because I'm going to put this side by side against the HiBoost Overlander and just kind of see what the differences are and see which one I like better. Now, HiBoost does include these brackets that kind of encapsulate around the bar. However, I just don't want to scratch the bars up, and I have the extrusion here, so why wouldn't I use it? Unfortunately, I did have to tap into my own 1/4-20 hardware here to mount this up onto the Prinsu Pro rack. Not a big deal. I've got a ton of this just because of all the different accessories I have been tested over the years. I have a lot of extra hardware. Now, as far as mounting location on the cab rack itself goes, I like them mounted on the passenger side, because I typically have my recovery gear on the driver's side of the cab rack, so passenger side works just great. And I want it all the way to the edge. That way it's just easier to reach and manipulate when the time comes. I'm not having to, step up into the doorway and reach across the entire middle of the truck. I can just do it from the outside here, and it's just easy. Now I'm just gonna line up my holes and mount it. I got the antenna completely assembled, and I made sure to keep the red cap on this as long as possible to protect these threads. You don't want to mess these up. This washer just goes on the bottom, and then this screws right onto the mount. And I will say that this articulating mount of the HiBoost is significantly more stout and more, a lot less play than the HiBoost mount. It just feels a lot more stable. HiBoost also includes this little mount that's basically supposed to catch the antenna when it comes down, and it's just a support for it. That way the little end bulbous cap here doesn't actually impact the rack. I can appreciate the effort in making this, but I'm not quite sure exactly what this end goes to. In the directions, it says that this will just slide into the extrusion. That is 100% false. It does not fit. Now that I've actually put it on here, this actually attaches to this bar really well, and I might just leave it on here just to have it kind of bounce on it a little bit. That's actually pretty solid. I like that. Next, I'm screwing the extension cable onto the mast cable. I was able to identify a place to run the cable behind the cab, between the cab and the bed, under the cab, and through a drain hole in the floorboard behind the passenger seat on the floorboard of the back passenger seat. Now, this is going to allow the cable to basically run fairly cleanly through there and up through that floorboard. So the plan is to pull off the sill of the door. I'm going to make sure that I can access that drain plug underneath the carpet, and then I'll put a slice in that drain plug, push the cable through from the bottom, pull it out the top, and then once it's all said and done, go back and re-silicone that whole thing. That way everything is nice and watertight. With the antenna cable successfully into the cab, on to the next step, which is going to be identifying where this box is going to go. And actually under the passenger seat, I didn't think there'd be enough room for it to fit, but it actually fits quite nicely. The seat can move all the way back and all the way front without any impacting of this unit itself. Now I'm going to attach the hook side of the Velcro to this here to attach to the carpet. That way it doesn't slide around underneath the seat. Then I'm going to hook up the outdoor cable, which is the antenna cable exterior, and then the indoor cable, which is the cable from the receiver that kind of disperses the signal within the cab, and then the power cable, which goes into the cigarette lighter at the dash. And it's really an easy install. I got everything plugged in. I got the door sill here, kind of put back everything, put back the way it belongs. Basically, the wires are just kind of under the floor mat, just kind of hidden, tucked away the best I can. These floor liners really make everything easier just to kind of tuck it all away because they really cover a bulk of the carpet. So you can tuck all the wires underneath there nice and clean. Also, the control box there didn't quite fit under the seat as much as I had hoped because of the floor liner. It kind of sits half on the floor liner, half under the seat. It's really just one of those things where if someone is sitting back here, which is pretty rare, I need to make sure that they just don't kick it. Other than that, it'll be just fine. Now let's test it. I got the HiBoost ExplorerX completely installed and it looks really good. The only thing I changed was on the interior antenna. I moved it from the B pillar all the way to the front next to the dash to create as much distance from the exterior antenna and the interior antenna as possible to not create interference and just get the most functionality out of the ExplorerX. The one thing I was curious about was, is the HiBoost articulating arm as high quality as the HiBoost? And honestly, I think it's better. There's a lot less play on it, and each angle has a much more positive click. I think it's actually higher quality than the HiBoost. Almost forgot to mention, I did go through and finish zip tying the cable all around the cab. The only thing I didn't get to do was they include these 3M cable management sticky caps, but they're white and I actually want to get black ones, so I'm gonna order those off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below for all of the items I used to make this install possible, although it is a very inclusive kit. And also, not gonna be testing this guy today. I actually want to do a test of the HiBoost versus the HiBoost as far as signal strength and just kind of how far, what kind of range we can get out of these boosters. I really hoped you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.